Alright. Is that good? Yeah, that's probably okay. Fuck. Switch to live chat. Hello to the one concurrent viewer. Share that. Hello, Kant. How are you doing? Hello, Valor. How are you doing? Fucking YouTube messaged me on Twitter today. I'll read that once I get like 4 or 5 viewers on this here. Live. Or sorry, here. Valor says, yesterday was absolute shit, contrasted with Kant Lonatheu doing okay for the most part. Live right now. All right. And then Shrey facehole. Then yep, switched to live chat immediately. I'm gonna take a big bite of this, and then we can get to the stream where I can talk about the nothing I did this week. Except I did do quite a bit, it's just been in the background. I just haven't uploaded this week, but that's gonna change this next week. Alright. Gonna reply to this in my server real quick here. Well, I'm live right now. If you want to chat. Basically, this week has been somewhat of a clusterfuck. One of my family members got into a car accident. It wasn't too bad, but it took hours that I was like, you know, planning on using for like making content and shit away from that prospect. And she's fine mostly. But you know, that obviously put some things off. Additionally, we had a fucking I had a few background conversations that have reestablished some things in terms of content. I'll put it that way in order to remain professional. But basically, I'll be doing quite a bit more this week. And I want to, you know, start to actually be reliable again. With that in mind, I'm going to establish a pretty consistent content flow, and a significant amount of each morning is going to be spent making sure I'm making content. because it's pretty pathetic how much I haven't done, despite the fact that this week has been hectic and a significant amount of it was not my fault. Some of it was, and I can't blame other people for everything. So, anyway, with all that being said, I'm going to... Valor says, I heard, I'm sorry for that. Well, she seems to be working it out. But, you know, our family's stubborn. And, doesn't really like to slow down. I'll put it that way. And, of course, you know, she and I are both Sonic fans. So, like, it's pretty mandatory that we don't give up. Goes against the religion. Valor says, I can relate. Been putting off a FNAF project for weeks now. Ah. Okay, so, yeah, I've got 4 concurrent viewers. Let me read the situation with YouTube. So basically, they fucking... You know how they'll ban basically anyone who's like a political dissident if they're significantly dissident enough? And they'll also just ban people because Nintendo told them to, even if what they were doing was fair use. Well, that means that every single time they won't ban somebody, or it seems like their platform is protecting or actively encouraging that person, I always sort of like, you know, gauge that against whether or not they're better or worse than the people that have been censored. And YouTube is currently authorizing what amounts to basically like, you know, dog foreplay. I'm not making this up. You know, it's basically just dog foreplay. If this translated into like the beginning of a porn, I would not be surprised. And it's even titled like one too. Like all the buzzwords right there in the title so that you click it because it got recommended. Because it got pushed to the front of the algorithm, and that's what happened when your search filters were used. It's really gross. And not only that, but from being put into these positions so reliably, to make sure that the video, gets made in exactly the way the client probably wants it to be made, the couch is torn up from dog claws. You can see it. It's not remotely an exaggeration. So YouTube is just out here actively encouraging what appears to be just straight up zoophile content. Just straight up zoophile content. And it's pretty fucking funny. It's pretty funny that YouTube would ban anyone while allowing this. Let me show you guys what I'm talking about. Because I don't want y'all to think that I'm remotely exaggerating here, or anybody else who might, like, happen by the stream. I think I should be able to get this up relatively easily here. Gonna have to shut my window soon, though, I think, because that neighbor's throwing whatever he's throwing. So... yeah, I think this will probably be it, right? Yeah, okay. Let me shut this thing here, and then... observe! This is the thumbnail. They're very clearly wanting you to think a very specific thing about this video. And you can see where, like, the couch is eaten up by dog claws. From repeatedly filming this degenerate garbage. So I put it out here. I said, YouTube recommending garbage like this to anyone else? The whole thing is arguably zoophile content. The positions she puts that dog in do not need to be seen, much less recommended on YouTube. Sometimes my subscribers won't even get notifications they asked for, but this is pushed. And I said, lovely, yeah, consider this like a vlog, I guess, right? And it's like, also, yes, in case anyone asks, this entire channel is basically that. This woman puts a dog in a variety of positions like that. And it's very specifically for a very specific kind of person. And I hate shit like this is what gets highlighted. Even the title is repeated. I feel like this is one of those times when the only thing that will work is getting Team YouTube tagged a whole lot of times and getting this a whole lot of attention. This is 100% outside TOS, and it's absolutely disgusting. This content is for a sick kind of individual, yo. So, they replied, and they said, "We really appreciate you bringing this to our attention." I fucking doubt that. Mind reporting the video in the official reporting tool if you haven't yet. This page has more info on how to do that. And so they link me to a document that says how to report a channel. And when I look in the channel reporting, there's no option for like dog fucker content. There's no option for like weird sexualization of animals. There's not even really an option for sexualization of children, just child endangerment. So basically, there's nothing on this channel report feature to do this. So, unfortunately, y'all don't have an option in the channel report section for inappropriate animal videos. While I have you here, though, here's a channel to look into. Lots of violations. And what did I link to? I linked to the fucking Zooier Than Thou podcast, which is literally just a podcast for zoophile content. And then I also linked to this channel, which is a channel of violative content. It's just fucking this over and over. I'm not going to play the video, but look at this. It's always the same position for the same purpose. She's even got this one, her shirt's almost all the way up. This is just, it's gross content. Look at this. It's not something anyone should see on their recommended feed. It's arguably not even something that should be seen, you know, on a normal porn site, because it's like borderline illegal. But yeah, like they just include this content in the fucking recommended sections. So I'm over here saying, you know, hey, this doesn't fucking work. And they're like, "We definitely want our community to help flag inappropriate content to ensure YouTube is a safe place for everyone. If you come across something that violates YouTube's policies, you can report it by following the steps in the article that we shared." So look over here. It said, "Y'all should really get more comprehensive tools in this regard. If someone wants to report clear violations like this, there's nothing to protect animals at all. Y'all do take that kind of thing seriously, right? Because right now it just directs me to your community guidelines info. When I say like none of these are my issue, it just redirects me to the community guidelines. So be well, Kent. He says gotta leave the stream. Hope y'all have a good rest of the night. Is funny YouTube's allowing that kind of content." And I said, I kind of don't think I'm going to get another reply from Team YouTube, much less any action in this regard, especially since one of the channels I linked has been around for a really long time and consistently brought up in many circles. Just remember this when y'all's fave is banned. So they replied to this one too. They didn't reply to the last one, right? And they said, "Appreciate the feedback. Can you share your suggestions through our send feedback tool so we can make improvements with our reporting resources? You can do this here. Thanks." And I said, I just shared the feedback here. There's no option for reporting a channel for inappropriate animal content. And when I clicked none of these are my issue, it just took me to the community guidelines page. Is there even a human responding to me, or is this automated? If you haven't yet, try reporting the video itself. Click the 3-dot icon, report sexual content, other sexual content. You'll then be asked to provide a timestamp and additional info that can help us with reviewing said content. And I said, why is there not an option to do that in the channel itself? Like, literally every video on this channel is some variation of that content. If I did that for every one of them, I would be here all day. If y'all want to pay me to work for you, we could work something out, Lamau. DM me. And they said, "Thanks for sharing. We're always open to feedback and suggestions and are looking for ways to improve. you can drop your suggestions via our send feedback tool. That way we can prioritize. Prioritize what? You already know the information unless you're not a human. If you're a human, you can already just escalate this. You can send these links to your fucking supervisor. What? Why do you need anything else? So, it's just frustrating, you know? It's fucking frustrating. Like, they get Nintendo fair use content stricken so easily. And this is how they treat, like, normal people trying to file concerns for, like, what amounts to, like, weird bestiality content. And so, I said in messages over here, I made this explicitly clear. I wrote down in this message because they DM'd me. They let me know that they wanted to hear from me. So what I said in my message was, please, like, they said, please take a moment and complete our online survey. We look forward to your feedback. And I said, why would I do that? To give you guys exactly 0 out of 10? Because I doubt you have a negative score. Nothing got resolved. Your automated service didn't do anything I couldn't have already found out. And you didn't have any humans there to actually address my concerns. Meanwhile, there are channels promoting zoophilia, and one of them which actively exploits the sexualization of real animals, putting them in compromising positions with humans, and you don't care. All you said is that I should report it, and when I pointed out that there was no report option for this type of content, all I got was a demand from your automated service to fill out a feedback form to tell you guys how bad you're doing. So many channels have gotten censored over the years, and so many videos taken down, and y'all can't even be human with someone raising genuine concerns that make the platform look like it's recommending animal abuse. Why would I give you guys even more data that you can waste? And so, then I finished out by saying, very explicitly, let me know when the sexualization and abuse of animals will be of as much concern to y'all as censoring political dissidents and giving Nintendo yet more successful DMCAs. For now, I'm not going to give you any more support. That seems like a reasonable response. Let me know. It's fucking hilarious. I've watched so many channels get banned and stricken, only for this to get away with it. Okay. Yeah, sure. I believe you care about trust and safety and guidelines. Sure. Valor says, all these replies are just bot generated. It's never a human. Yeah, 100%. Well, might be a short one today, depending on how many concurrent viewers we get. I got 2 according to YouTube, but only one's talking. But if this only ran until 7 my time, that would still be quite a bit of time, so, whatever. Yeah, I've got a lot of stuff that's been sort of, like, stewing around in the background. And, a lot of that stuff is going to be, very explosive, I think. For instance, I've decided to turn my Elon Musk stuff into a series, and then a summary article of that series on AgoristNexus. And I'm also going to start really hitting the gas on getting as many podcast guests for that as possible. I want to start putting out 1 podcast episode a week, 1 vlog a day, 1 Hate with Harding a week, and I also want all this to be concurrent with a regular newsletter and articles on my site. So I want to start being a powerhouse. I'll keep y'all posted as to whether or not that's working. Valor says, my partner still isn't back, and about yesterday I made an extremely huge mistake. You're free to let me know. I found 2 gut-wrenching news. Okay. Is that the mistake you made, like reading the news? Because, yeah, that can be a mistake. LOL. I don't think I want to go into it, but I made a friend of mine extremely upset. It happens. I'm not perfect in that regard, and I've definitely made my share of friends upset. So, you know, I would not be one to say, like, hey, yeah, you know what, you fucked up and it's irrevocable. Like, if they're actually friends, they'll stick around. Sometimes people piss each other off. Happens. And if they don't stick around, then you're just saving time by finding out who's just going to be there until things get a little bit upsetting. I found out someone who I used to know attempted suicide, and I found out in the partial reason for my best friend to end it. Oh. Well, that's certainly not good news. Did they, like, do it, though? Or did you, talk them down? I'm pulling for them. Suicide ain't the answer. As someone who has not only thought about it, had a knife in my hand and ready to put it through my chest, and in general, been told to do it like so many times, I can definitely say, you know, live despite the kind of people who make you do that. I'm here because, like, a voice in my head when I was really, like, at the edge and had the knife in my hand in the tub, I was gonna be nice about it. I was gonna, like, bleed out in the tub, to make sure it was easy to clean up. But, a voice in my head said, you're not the one who deserves this. And that's been redirecting my energy ever since. Valor says, I apologize to my friend endlessly. As for the other person, I haven't talked to them. Well, yeah, I wish you well in those regards. Sounds like quite a few things are kind of dissolving for you. So, alright. Give this about, I'll say 27 more minutes. We can go to 50 minutes at this rate. Valor says, I should probably seek therapy. I might have depression. I certainly can't not recommend that. You know, here's my problem with therapists, and specifically therapists and kids. I feel like they don't take kids' psychological issues as seriously as they should. Because as somebody who not only has had a whole lot of people come up to me and tell me horror stories about their therapy, but also who the therapists and shrinks and whatever, pill pushers, they all misdiagnosed me as a kid. Like, yeah, sure, I might have ADHD, but the primary concern I didn't find out until I was an adult. And, like, not just 18, like 25-ish. I didn't find out until real fucking late Yeah, you know what? The reason shit sucks for you is because you're bipolar. And they would just, like, throw whatever antidepressants, SSRIs, whatever they could down my throat in hopes to fix me. But when it came down to it, I didn't have, like, things that could be fixed by those. I had bipolar, and the drugs, if anything, only made it fucking worse. And made me feel duller. Which is apparently a symptom. There's a whole bipolar, like, magazine for scientific research, and there's a whole section of it. There was a whole paper done on the like the negative psychological effects of giving things like SSRIs, lithium, and that sort of thing to people with bipolarism. They're like, hey, this might make it a whole lot worse. Don't do these things anymore. So, at least, you know, they said it might make it a whole lot worse. I don't think they said don't do them anymore. That's just sort of my conclusion. Balder says, I refuse to take any sort of antidepressant meds. That's good, in my opinion. But I also know people who take them and say that they feel much better, so I'm not going to say that that's, like, always universally good. I just know for me it didn't work. And it made it worse. It's like that Murder Dolls song, you know? My dark place alone. Sometimes the pills don't work. Sometimes they make it work. Worse. And now I'm slowly going down the fucking drain. Bala says, my dad told me a lot of meds don't work. Yeah. I mean, for a lot of people, they certainly don't. For a lot of people. Like, I've had a whole lot of people come up to me with their horror stories about, like, pills and shit. And how they were basically just designed to shut them up. And that they didn't help the actual psychological issue. They still felt like shit. They still felt like shit. But the pill made them feel less like expressing it. So that works for corporate America. And the school system. You know? It's like there's a movie called The Legend of El Super Beasto. It's an animation by Rob Zombie, and I still love it to this day, yo. But it's like extremely like it's very much like Ren and Stimpy kind of like bottom of the barrel humor, and that's what made it great. And then there was this guy with this gun that like it doctors Satan, and he shot it at this chick by putting it on shut up bitch mode, and she just froze. And it's like that, but medication. It's just like, it's a shut up bitch mode. Just like, take the shut up bitch pill. That's what they wanted me to do. And I didn't shut up, strangely enough. Yeah, Valor says Rob Zombie is the GOAT. If Earth Nerd were here, she would agree with you. And if you hear any background noise, I have my window open. It's extremely hot. Oh, and also I might as well talk about this. I'll be bringing it up in greater detail, but I might as well also read this. So Target donated to an organization. They donated to GLSEN for a decade. And like rich conservatives who used Target as a way to say, well, I don't shop at those peon locations. I don't shop at those broke people's locations. I have much more social standing. And I'm not a communist. I shop at Target. I can afford to because of my job. All these fucking bougie ass, like, fucking conservatives, suddenly they're going, like, through Target and realizing, hey, not everything here is sold to me. Not everything here is marketed to me. Oh no, there's some pride shit. Oh no, oh no. And then Fox News says, "Did you know that they've been that they donate to GLSEN?" And Elon Musk just bitched out, "Is this true, Target?" in a tweet, right? He didn't care. He didn't care that Target's been doing this for fucking ever. And he also didn't care whether or not the post itself was true, which is that they consent to children receiving basically gender surgeries without parental consent or knowledge. They don't. It doesn't happen. But Elon Musk said, "Is this true?" And it didn't need to be true. It didn't need to be true. He just said it. And a whole bunch of people started to hate that organization in public. And so this happened. And then later on, they found out Chick-fil-A has, since 2001, had a diversity, equity, and inclusion officer. A single one. And they want to cancel Chick-fil-A now. Who went hard in the motherfucking paint over, anti-LGBT stuff, anti-woke, anti. But as soon as they step a modicum out of line, the fascists want them shut down. And not even as soon as, just as soon as these illiterate chuckle fucks find out. Because they never looked into these organizations before. It never mattered to them. So I wrote down, when conservatives could use shopping at Target as a class signal, they didn't care that Target donated to LGBT organizations. When they could use Chick-fil-A as a virtue signal, they didn't care about the diversity, equity, and inclusion guy. Now both are canceled by whiny cons. Target was always overpriced, but it lured in middle-class people, and it was considered better than lesser stores like Walmart, despite similar quality. So conservatives spent their money there and didn't look into the company who donated to Gilsen for a decade. It ain't new. Chick-fil-A is also kind of unduly expensive, but it was more about the conservative culture there. Kanye West even wrote a song about it, until they found out minorities weren't treated like shit, and there was a guy to ensure that. Since 2021. Welp, can't eat there now. Y'all hate cancel culture until it's useful to you, and are now actively, systematically canceling literally everything that doesn't behave just so, having what amounts to a modern-day witch hunt trial over anything that touches a rainbow. It's pathetic. Y'all are cowards. Fact. So, that's my take on it. And then Andrew Simmons, of course, pops up on Phoebe, with his, very consistent, dumb bigotry lately. And he's like, because they don't hate LGBT, they hate marketing to kids. So, I responded to this fucker, by saying, "You're incredibly dumb. Chick-fil-A isn't marketing to kids by having a diversity, inclusion, and equity guy. They're marketing to kids by having a kids meal. The vast majority of Pride marketing is not to kids, and it's specifically okay to tell kids they don't have to tolerate bigotry and that they can be..." What's up? Yeah, that'll be fine, though. Oh, okay. If you can just put those in the lock, that'd be... Alright, that works, yeah. Yeah, I'm currently live at a housemate. The vast majority of Pride marketing isn't to kids, and it's specifically okay to tell kids that they don't have to tolerate bigotry, and that they can be included as well, even if they're part of a minority. You just can't handle other people doing things you don't. Plain and simple. So that was my take on the situation, and I don't think I'm wrong. Valor says, "LOL, got some funny news." Ah, you're free. LMK. Yeah, I've just had a lot of stupid people in my mentions lately. A lot of stupid people in my comments lately. that just bleat whatever the fucking programmers tell the sheep to bleat. It's very annoying. Valor says, my mom is anti-target. Yep, not surprised. They apparently made a swimsuit for kids that tucks the pain between the legs for trans kids. Yeah, it's tuck friendly, but it's like it's unisex, and it's also primarily marketed to adults. So yeah, giving smaller bodies the same kind of like suit is not the same as like removing their genitals. Oh no, they wore clothing I didn't like. How fucking awful. That's what this amounts to. Meanwhile, if I recall correctly, your family watches Matt Walsh near religiously. And Matt Walsh is a fucking extreme pervert who says 16-year-old girls are adults and you should be able to impregnate one as long as you're married to her. So, pardon me for not taking these people seriously. If they wanted to oppose a predator, they should get Matt Walsh out of their midst. If they wanted to be Christian, they should stop endorsing Michael Knowles while he's talking about eradication. They are nothing of the sort. They aren't anti-pedo, or they'd be against Matt Walsh. They're not anti, they're not Christian, or they would actually follow the Bible and not behave against it in this way. Fucking stupid. Valor says, please, can Orthodox Christians not be homophobic and follow God's love for 1 second? Just read Matthew. They should all just read Matthew. The fact that they haven't yet is stupid. Or the fact that they didn't, read it for content and they just sort of skimmed it, maybe. Matthew absolutely fucks up most Christians. It's great. There's so much in there that, the vast majority of Christians just don't follow. And if they did, a whole lot more people would be, more receptive to the message and like them better. But here we fucking are. Valor says, I might be going to Orthodox Church on Sunday. I've never been. I've always, the churches I've been at were always, sobriety churches or, fucking non-denominational. We were never, with the orthodoxy or whatever. And the non-denominational church was super annoying. This guy, he would read the Bible chapter by chapter, verse by verse, but he wouldn't actually read it. And he wouldn't actually encourage it. And eventually, he would give us voting guides that told us with a thumb up or a thumbs down, who we were supposed to vote for, what policies. They didn't explain why. They just... because they don't respect the intelligence of their congregation. Motherfuckers got negative intelligence. They scored a don't on the IQ's test. IDK. Well, okay. BT. The stream still going if there's something you want addressed. Alright. But yeah, if y'all thought my gloves were on before, I'm 31 now, motherfuckers. I'm over the 30 hill. I have a lot less time, and I'm going to start making my points hit a whole lot harder and making a whole lot more of them. I got 3 concurrent viewers now. Who is the next? Yeah, I've got a lot that I plan on doing with this year. My resolve is a lot stronger. Especially since a lot of people who were opposed to me are now on my side because they found out on a long enough time frame, basically anything I say is going to be right. So, hello, Earth Nerd. I was just talking about the dumb Chick-fil-A boycott. Are you aware of that yet? LMK. If you are. So, conservatives are boycotting Chick-fil-A because they were too dumb to check into the company when they were supporting it all these years. And while they were too dumb to check in to the company that they were supporting all these years, they failed to recognize that they have a whole branch of diversity, equity, and inclusion. So now that they found that out, and that the guy running that is a black man, they're just like, fuck! My bigotry! I'll just take my fucking money elsewhere. So, I put it out here. When conservatives could use shopping at Target as a class signal, they didn't care that Target donated to LGBT organizations. When they could use Chick-fil-A as a virtue signal, they didn't care about the diversity, equity, and inclusion guy. Now both are canceled by whiny cons. Target was always overpriced, but it lured in middle-class people and was considered better than lesser stores like Walmart, despite similar quality. So conservatives spent their money there and didn't look into the company, who donated to Gilson for a decade. It ain't new. Chick-fil-A is also kind of unduly expensive, but it was more about the conservative culture there. Kanye West even wrote a song about it. Until they found out about minorities weren't treated like shit, and there's a guy there to ensure that, since 2021. Well, can't eat there now. Y'all hate cancel culture until it's useful to you, and are now actively systemically canceling literally everything that doesn't behave just so, having what amounts to a modern-day witch trial over anything that even touches a rainbow. It's pathetic, and y'all are cowards. Fact. I haven't had... So, okay. I have seen their sandwiches. I've never had one, because I never wanted to spend the money required to go to a Chick-fil-A. Like, if I can get the $400 in rent that I need by the end of the week, you know, and maybe some on top of that, maybe I'll consider going to a fucking Chick-fil-A for the first time. But, like, it always looked overpriced. If I do, though, I'll get the tea, since you're vouching for it. Valor says Chick-fil-A is mid in terms of food. Earth Nerd says, I can't even eat there. They use peanut oil. I've been there with people, but I grab my food somewhere else. Yeah, understandable. It's a shame people don't just, use beef tallow anymore. All right. I'll go for 15 more minutes. Because I don't have much to discuss. Anything y'all want to discuss? Yeah, like, for chicken sandwiches, I can get a cheap and perfectly acceptable one at Burger King. Their original chicken sandwich, my typical meal there, I get 2 Whoppers, 2 original chicken sandwiches, 2 fries, and that's my meal. And maybe a Sprite. Or it says, so many people where I'm from love that place. I don't think it's wrap around the building good, but I'll let you be the judge. Huh. If I get there, sure. I'm not going to waste money on it, though. People have to want me to do that. In order to really piss off the remaining conservatards, though, what would be poggers as fuck is if I went up there with a fucking trans flag as a cape. I'm not even trans, and it'd be fucking hilarious. Bumping my hetero non-trans fucking ass up in there with a trans flag as a cape, waiting for the first motherfucker to cry. That's content right there. I don't know what you meant by pipo queerly. Are you saying people are leaking my name? Because if you're saying that, then I mean that sucks, but I can't really read that sentence. Earth Nerd says, I miss being able to go to the gas station for my chicken sandwich. And you'd get so much shit. Yeah, but it'd be funny. And that's what would count. Valor says, so, what do you mean they're leaking your name? In a Discord server or something? I haven't seen it leaked. Yeah, I'm just over here being fucking better Hassan Abi with better hair. I'm just eating on camera. Valor says, nah, just around a stupid game I'm in. I'm getting it worked out. Ah. But yeah, I mean, that might be worth it just for the memes. I would have to buy a trans flag, though. I don't have a trans flag. That would be a first. I've never bought a pride flag, but honestly, I mean, I could use that as a prop in so many videos, just to piss off the conservatives. That might be worth it. Valor says, bro, if I get anything pro-LGBTQ, I'm probably getting kicked out of my house. Would not surprise me. Gotta fly under the radar for now. You know what? I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna put a fucking trans pride flag in my Amazon wish list. I'm gonna, if somebody wants to help me piss off conservatives, you're more than welcome to. I'm not even trans, and this appeals to me intrinsically. I want to see them all mad. And flag. Three by 5 foot trans flag. That'd probably be enough. Canvas header and double stitched. Yeah, this seems reasonable quality, and it's only fucking $7 right now. Yeah, I'll throw this in here. Add to list. Meme accomplished. Earth Nerd says, I got sent to my grandparents for 2 weeks for being pan. Valor says, don't worry, none of my family ever get in my socials. I'm making it extra clear that I'm an Orthodox Christian who's also an LGBTQ ally. That's good. Earth Nerd says, it's all good. It backfired because my grandparents didn't give a shit. We just hung out and did fun stuff. Valor says, like in my Discord bio, I literally have Orthodox Christian, I accept LGBTQ. No. Alright, we got like 7 minutes left. Y'all got any subjects you want to discuss? Yeah, well, I got some content I gotta work on, and I'm also gonna make another meal. I've actually been getting some mass lately, and I want to keep that going. So I'm gonna put down another meal before 8 and see if I can get some content recorded before then as well, because I've got some plans around then. So about about an hour of streaming will be quite a bit in that regard. Is there anything? Oh, Valor says, I miss my partner. Well, this will be interesting to see if they're still willing to come back after essentially being estranged. If you're right about how much you two were into each other, they'll probably be coming back. Who knows? Got 4 concurrent viewers. Looks like somebody just came in. Hello to you. Oh. Either way. Valor says, I plan to visit Romania someday and maybe visit 051. Yeah, Earth Nerd, his friend's parents found a phone and weren't happy with some of the messages. So, there you go. We found that out on the last stream. That's what's good about these streams, is that it's sort of like an ongoing, you know, an ongoing story about, like, other people. It doesn't have to just be about me. Valor says, I've been making my friends gifts lots of drawings. I'll show one that I made for 051. Jeremiah, what are your opinions on my friend allowing a Nazi in their server and literally told me if he does anything, just mute him? Well, tell your friend to invite me so that I can have a conversation with this Nazi. Let's see if they're really into it for diversity of opinion, or if they just want to be a piece of shit. That's content right there. Holy shit. Well then, yeah, I mean, if they're just encouraging suicide, then absolutely, this person isn't your friend. If your friend is inviting Nazis to be, like, cruel to your other friends, then that guy's not your friend. You know? I feel like that would be a relatively obvious statement to make. Well, throw me an invite. Let's cause some chaos. I'm down to cause some chaos. Because right now they don't even sound like they're your friend. That behavior doesn't sound very friend-like. Let's see if your friend is still your friend after you invite one of your friends. Because right now I'm not convinced. Friends don't let friends endorse fascism. Earth Nerd says, JH trying to act up. Also rescind. Yeah, it's Saturday already. Just over here doing my normal thing, trying to make rent. LOL. Basically on waiting mode for a couple of graphics and web jobs that might solve that problem. So, there wasn't any original content this week, but there will be multiple pieces of original content this week. I was saying what I want to do. I want to get back on the daily vlog grind, and I'm also going to start prioritizing one article a week, one podcast a week, and on both of those scores, also a Hate with Harding a week. I want to do all of that and have it work in synergy. Also, the SD card you got me is working great. So, Valor says he got into Algebra 1, and he's getting a job soon. Rasin says, good for you, I took pre-alg 3 times before I finally was able to manage alg. Valor says, BT Dub, I wish I had screenshots of the guy being a piece of crap. Yeah, Rescind, it was my my birthday last week, so I'm going to sort of amp up the content now that I'm 31. It's it's not going to be a year of stagnation. I feel like 30 was largely a year of stagnation. This is going to be better. And I have reliable email newsletter that I'm going to start putting out. Like, because the other one, I got sort of disenfranchised because the other one sort of up and disbanded, and I didn't export my contacts for that email newsletter in time. But like this one, I don't think is going to, and they call the plan free forever, and so I feel like this one's gonna do what I need it to. And the reason I didn't start one up immediately afterward is because, like, MailChimp will put your address at the bottom of the email, and I can't afford a business address. So I was gonna wait until I got a business address to restart my, like, also email newsletter. So I was gonna, like, go get a private mailbox. But this one, Sender, goes through your own web host. So it's coming from jeremiahharding.com. It's not coming from anything else. And basically what that means is that this campaign will be sent by my site, and therefore doesn't require some third-party reporting requirements for address. And so I can do my email newsletter without any worries about that sort of information. And it's going to be like, promoting my political content and shit, and maybe occasionally doing, like, sponsored ads for people. So that'd be the plan. Either way, you came near the end of the stream, Rescind, unless there is a subject you want me to bring up. I plan on covering relatively soon the Americans, the black nationalists, arrested for, like, colluding with Russia. So that's coming soon. But like, for now, I've got, like, a whole bunch of things on the back burner, including that I'm going to sort of move forward with. I reached 114K, I reached 1.14K, yeah, but it's like, I've reached that before, and it dipped back down after some of the people realized that my new content where I'm, talking about how trans people aren't Satan is not their kind of speed. So we'll see if that sticks. And Rescind says, I did. I'm glad I at least got to say hello. Well, it's still going now. If there is something you want to bring up, feel free to let me know. That is, if you're still here. It dropped back down below 4 concurrent viewers. Either way, gonna make your money worth it, and your support. Plenty of people have been supporting me over the past year, and I don't feel like I've given them their money's worth. So I'm gonna really try to start to do that, especially since I need to do insane things like make rent more reliably. Especially since I need to make more coming up here, because I've got a friend moving up across the country, and we're going to be starting something up in Spokane. So I need to be much more reliable, not like the same level of reliable I was before. So yeah, the Sin says, I'm here, my head is empty, busy as hell week. I sympathize with that. Let me put it to you this way. There were multiple relatively long arguments that have taken a significant amount of my attention the past week. With multiple people. And basically, at this point, I should have enough ability to focus on content that I can actually start to put out, like, consistent and high levels of content. So that's the current plan. The current plan is to like follow that schedule I was talking about and really make it worth it. Because, I can't be in this position where it's like, the first week of the next month and I still need $400 for rent. I'm in that position again, and it's dumb. And it wouldn't be that way if I was actually putting out content. I'm taking full responsibility for that. So, anyway, there's going to be a lot coming. And next week the stream will start a little bit earlier, so if you want to show up at 5:30 Californian. Rescind says, does rage fuel your creativity or sap it, or is it finances that's so draining? So, here's the thing. That's actually an interesting question. The fact that I don't make much is stressful, and stress drains my creative reservoir. But it also is sort of a motivating factor. Because the fact is that, like, if I'm homeless, I can't keep doing this, So, it's a motivating factor, the finances, but it's not a creativity factor. Like, it's hard to be super creative when it's basically a gun to your head. So I need to make enough content that I have enough support that I can be comfortable, and then I won't be as stressed and I'll be able to be more creative. But then the rage is sort of, the rage itself is definitely a fuel, because there have been many times when I've just like powered through one of the projects I was working on, like that Eliza Blue video. I was so angry during so much of that, and during some of this project on Daniel Perry, I've been so angry during so much of that, and like a bunch of other sort of projects that I've got going on. I can't live without rage. That might be able to answer your question. But the financial aspect of it definitely doesn't make it easier for me to be creative, if that's what you're asking. Once I get more support, I'll be able to sort of spread my wings a little bit in this regard. And I need to earn that. It's not that anyone else has a deficit. It's not that anyone else is in the wrong. I'm not going to try to get a standard job because, A, I would be rejected by the vast majority of them because I've already talked about all these, like, sensitive political issues, and B, it would, like, absolutely destroy my ability to make content, especially since I would have to get on the bus. I don't have a car. So, I've considered that sort of thing. The closest I might do is a housemate has offered to, like, offered me work that would be on a gig basis. So what I'm considering doing is saying every Thursday, as long as I'm back by 6 p.m. like Pacific, I could do, like, a day of work, and that might take care of rent. I haven't quite decided on that though, especially since if I get my content grind going to where I want it to be, I might be able to just make it anyway. I feel like that might be a possibility. So, I'm going to be trying for that. That's going to be my goal, is to actually be reliable and consistent and put out high levels and high quality of content. Because I've been real slacking in that regard, and it's unacceptable. It's mad unacceptable. Like, I blame me. I don't blame anyone else. So, with that being said, we're at about an hour 10 in. I'll give it 4 more minutes. Anything else y'all want to discuss? Goal this week is going to be making that 400, ideally more. I've got a couple, potential jobs that might be working their way in over the weekend, and that might deal with what my immediate needs are. But then my goal would still be to make that over the week, because I need to be start to be well into the positives rather than this shit, where I push everything to the end of the month. I procrastinate as fuck. I'm nowhere near where I need to be, and then suddenly I start the panic. It's not acceptable. It hasn't been acceptable for a really fucking long time. You know, that's the fact. And I don't want to be dishonest with y'all. I don't want to be dishonest with y'all. That's the fact. I haven't been doing what I need to be doing. So, that's going to change. 31 is not going to be 30. It can't be. Not if I need... Not if I'm ever going to get done what I want to get done. So, with that being said, executive functioning disorder, I actually don't know what that is. Disrupts a person's ability to manage their own thoughts, emotions, and action. Probably not. Let me see. Go to WebMD. Yeah, I don't think I have many issues with this. I'm just... So here's my problem. It's not an executive functioning thing. What it would be is it would be bipolar, if anything. Because here's the deal. I get real focused in on a subject. Like, I'll bite down hard on a thing that I found that day. And it'll take my energy away that I could have been doing. Whether that be an argument that I'm having with somebody, or whether it be, you know, that I found a subject that's got my bipolarism ticking off and it's got me fucking raging, you know, things like that, where it, like, suddenly I'm you know, real motivated to stay in the spiral and to fuck whatever or whoever that is up. It's because, like, you know, Earth Nerd here says, I have the executive function issue on occasion as a symptom of ADHD. Earth Nerd's, like, experience with me can tell you I have arguably too much mental control when it comes down to it. And I spend a significant amount of my time locking down certain parts of my mind and saying no to a lot. And I don't think executive function disorder would apply here. I feel like I just get latched on, like a pit bull kind of. I get latched on to a subject and then I just keep latched on. You know? I don't know if that makes sense. Valor says, I have a lot of friends who have ADHD. I've been told I might have ADHD or autism. A lot of my family are autistic. Yeah, I don't... Most of my family isn't autistic, but, like, you know, I'm bipolar for sure. Yeah. I just... You know, and maybe I could start to medicate, but I feel like I'm doing fine with, like, just absolutely maximizing nutritional input. I feel like that's what I need to do. That and actually get things done. Because let me tell you, when I don't get things done, when I don't have that sense of accomplishment at the end of the day, like I put out some content, that's when my brain's fucked up. When I look at myself in the mirror at the end of the day, and I can't say that I accomplished a whole lot, it makes me feel like the entire day was wasted, and I spend a significant amount of time before I fucking spiral to sleep worrying about shit. And then I, you know, like, more likely than not get a night terror on those days when I accomplished nothing I wanted to. So, that's where my brain is. I wouldn't think you're autistic, Valor. But I also haven't heard you speak. That would help in me being able to, like, reason with that concept. But yeah. So, goal this week. Get to the 400 mark. Goal next week. Earn enough to get a graphics tablet. Because my current graphics tablet is broken. Goal the next week. Get enough for the next month's rent. Goal the next week. Get enough that I have, like, an actual savings for once. I think I can start to do this. It's just a matter of moving toward that. Valor says, I'm scared to reveal my voice, but I might send a voice message. Up to you. I'm certainly not, like, mandating anything. Either way, though, send that invite to that Nazi server. I want to fuck them up. Rescind says, here's to a good week to all. Good luck to you with your new job, Valor. Yeah, for sure. Valor says, I have a somewhat feminine voice and it makes me scared to reveal it. That's up to you. But I don't have a problem with people's voice. I don't know why I would. Like, especially since when you start, like, eating more protein and working out more, that might change too. Like, a lot of the times people's, like, puberty is just somewhat late onset. Mine was not. I started basically like 8 or 9. Like, the more I thought about it, the more I thought I was experiencing those things at 8 or 9. Oh, and if y'all want to hear Rescind's voice, we did some videos a while back on homeschooling and unschooling. So y'all can go check that out too. It's like the videos with Suzanne Lervold. Either way, that would be it. Smash the fucking state.